Oh, yeah. Welcome to Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave Simon. He is Johnny North. WrestlingUncensored.net is the website. Go there. Check it out. All the shows are there, be it Ringside Report, the MMA show, What's Phantom in Japan, all sorts of different things going on the Ringside Report network. RingsideReport.net. You can listen to this show on your radio, as many of you are doing right now, of course. You can download this show as a podcast. We're on iTunes. We're on Google Play. And you can watch this show on YouTube at youtube.com/ringsidereport.net. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment. We do this show, Wrestling Uncensored, each and every week for you, talking about the WWE, everything going on in World Wrestling Entertainment. If you want to hear about other things in pro wrestling, you can check out our YouTube channel, because we have all the AEW talk that you can handle. The AEW All Out preview show available on Dave and Johnny Live this week. You can check that out exclusively on our YouTube channel or on our website, ringsidereport.net. Also there you can find our All Out recap show. Right after All Out, we go live on YouTube, as we go live after every major wrestling event from AEW. We've done every AEW show, right? And we also go live after every pay-per-view from the WWE. So Clash of Champions is what is on our radar right now. And we're going to talk about Clash of Champions here on the program. A lot of new matches made, including a main event. We have the main event. It will be Seth Rollins defending the WWE Universal title, the Raw title, the red belt, against Braun Strowman. His tag team partner, they are currently, Braun and Seth, the Raw tag team champions. And they will be defending their titles, also in a match made this week, against a new tag team, a kind of strange bedfellows tag team, if you will, of Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Those two guys were put together in a tag team this week, and they wrestled in a gauntlet match, although they called it a, tag team turmoil?
Right.
But it was a super long gauntlet match to determine number one contenders for Seth and Braun and the Raw tag titles. And Dolph and Bobby Roode wound up beating many tag teams on their way to winning that whole thing. They beat the Lucha House Party, Lince Doritos and Grand Metalik. They beat the Revival, which is a pretty big deal, right? Former champions, one of the top teams in the company. They beat Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. And they also beat Heavy Machinery. And that was their last match, and that earned them a shot at the tag team titles. So we will see Dolph and Bobby Roode now take on Seth and Braun in a match that maybe some people are looking forward to. I don't know. It's kind of an odd pairing of Dolph and Bobby. Let's start with that. What do you think of the tag team of Dolph and Bobby? You have any tag team names? Any ideas? What do you think? Good team? Good idea for these guys? They weren't really doing much of anything else, right?
I guess the Glorious Show-Offs, just off the top of my head.
That's not bad.
It's probably better than what they're going to come up with in the end, I think.
I like it. The Glorious Show-Offs. Okay. Do you like the team?
I don't like the fact that they just pretty much destroyed most of the tag teams in one match. It kind of really discredits whatever tag team division they have on Raw and SmackDown. And now you just put these makeshift teams together and become tag team champions. It just seems like
they're not champions. They're just number one contenders. They probably won't win the titles.
Really? I think they probably will.
You think they will?
I think that's going to cause problems for Strowman and Rollins going into their match, because that's probably going to be the first match, and they lose.
Because they'll be mad at each other because they know they have to wrestle each other later. Some miscommunication. Bobby and Seth win.
I think that's what's going to go down.
Or Bobby and Dolph win, sorry. I'd say they probably pin Seth to make it seem like, oh, Seth is weak. Seth has already lost tonight. Is he going to lose the Universal title? No, I don't expect him to. Seth wrestles Braun. Something that we expected would happen as a result of them teaming together. I didn't think it would happen this soon, but here we are. They're going there right away, and they really they didn't do much to get there, right?
It was terrible.
I mean, excuse me. Seth and Braun are backstage, and they're talking about winning the Raw Tag Team titles together. Seth is told by the person interviewing them that every title will be defended at Clash of Champions, which is coming up in a couple weeks, right?
Always is like that.
So Seth will have to defend not only the tag titles, but now the Universal title. So Seth Rollins will have to wrestle twice. So he's like, okay, you know. And Seth's like, yeah, it's fine, no problem. And Braun, he's like staring at the Universal title, and he's like, hey, who's challenging for that one? And Seth is like, I don't know. Nobody yet. Nobody's asked. Nobody seems to want to wrestle me. Nobody seems to want the Universal title. I don't know. And Braun's like, yeah, well, I would like a shot at that title. And Seth is like, okay, cool. And that's it. That's how the match was made. Your thoughts? I mean, what do you think about that? That they really didn't do much to build it up. It was just like, hey, I'm the champion. Yeah, I want that title. Okay. Cool. You want to wrestle for it? Yeah. Okay. Done. Okay.
Well, this was a pre-taped interview because Seth was not at Raw. As if you noticed during the main event, Braun was by himself pretty much when he went against the OC.
Oh, Seth wasn't on Raw at all. He wasn't in the building.
No.
Why not?
I'm guessing because of the engagement to Becky. I don't think Becky was on Raw either.
You get engaged and you get a vacation? I thought, it's not a honeymoon. What's that?
Yeah, but WWE kind of like publicized the fact that they got engaged, so.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, if they're going to take advantage of you in that way, at least you get some perks.
I guess. So Seth got the week off. He did that little promo, and that's all they did to build the match. Didn't get me very excited for the match. I don't believe that Braun is going to win. I'm not really excited for the quality of the match. So this main event is really doing nothing for me. I kind of figure I know what the finish is going to be. Seth is going to win. Probably curb stomp, 1, 2, 3. Couple of curb stomps maybe.
Yeah, at least, I think.
Okay, 2 or 3 curb stomps and he pins Braun. Either way, the result is the same. You're just waiting for it to finish. You know what's going to happen. And Seth and Braun, we've seen them wrestle before, I feel like. I can't really recall any of their matches, but that's probably because they weren't all that good. Like, I don't expect a great match here out of Seth and Braun Strowman at Clash of Champions, so what am I watching for? What is the draw for the main event? There's no heat between them. They seem like they get along on a real level and, even as tag team champions. So what do I care?
I guess by the time we get to that match, there'll be problems. That's my belief. And I think leading up to it as well, you'll see that Braun keeps wanting that title, and eventually, I think he's going to lay out Seth at one point.
Okay.
That's all you're getting, by the way.
You think Braun will win?
I don't think so. I'm guessing the Fiend's going to get involved in some capacity because apparently there's rumors of him challenging for the Universal Championship at Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, there's word that there's already promotion out there, like local promotion for Hell in a Cell.
And him and Braun are already like tweeting back and forth about that.
What?
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, and Braun Strowman are tweeting about Bray being the next challenger?
Right.
What? Why would they do that? Kayfabe, brother. No?
Well, no, but there's a tweet out there that says that the Fiend's going to challenge for the Universal Championship at Hell in a Cell, and Braun's like, well, if it's going to be you, it's going to be teacher versus student, and the student's going to show you something.
I would prefer that. Like,
I don't know if that's what we're going to get, though.
But I would like that. I would like Braun Strowman to become the Universal Champion. And I would like Seth and Braun to hold the tag team titles while all of that happens. I think that would be interesting. Where Seth and Braun, you know, they manage to defend their tag titles. Dolph and Bobby don't take it from them. And then Braun takes the Universal title from Seth. Let's see the unlikely outcomes. Like, both of us sitting here, we're like, yeah, whatever. Bobby and Dolph just put together. They'll probably use them to take the titles off of Braun and Seth, because how long can their run really last?
Right.
And Seth will probably retain the Universal title because they're already advertising Seth and Bray Wyatt at the next pay-per-view, and Seth is the golden boy, and he just beat Brock, so Seth will probably just keep going. That's what we're expecting. So why not do the opposite of what we expect? Why not do the opposite of what pro wrestling aficionados, people that watch this stuff, the experts, go against what we're expecting, spice things up, make it interesting. Like, Braun Strowman has been in the company for several years. He just signed a multi-year contract with the company. He's down with the program. Reward the monster. Give him the belt. He's held 0 championships except for the tag titles that he won with a child at WrestleMania. And now the tag titles again with Seth. Braun Strowman is gigantic. He's not a terrible wrestler. His promos are okay. But, like, give him a shot. Give him a chance. Why not? Give him the title because Bray and Braun is a more interesting feud than Bray and Seth. Because The Fiend and Seth, it's like, okay, The Fiend does some things. He'll show up out of the darkness. He'll put the thing on Seth and take him out. And then Seth will say he's not afraid of him. And
right.
Then he'll look afraid maybe. And that'll be that. The feud will be over whether or not Seth is afraid of The Fiend. Because that's what the WWE does, right? Like, I don't know what else they might do. Maybe The Fiend will do something to Becky Lynch. That would be good.
Yeah, I could see that.
That would be good. That could be interesting. But I don't really need to see Becky Lynch like being used as a pawn in the Seth Rollins, Bray Wyatt feud. Becky Lynch is her own person. She's got her own things to do. She's got Sasha Banks to worry about. So I like the, hey, I'm Braun Strowman. I used to be in the Wyatt family. I kind of came, like, he came into the WWE under Bray Wyatt as one of Bray's goons, and now he's his own man, and Bray's the Fiend. I think it would be an interesting feud. They've never really done the Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt one-on-one program. It's good. It works. I'm interested in that. I think Bray and Braun, even in the ring, their styles make sense together a lot more than Bray and Seth.
Well, especially now because he's the Fiend, right? I mean, just to see what it'd be like, a giant guy like that against the Fiend. We haven't seen the Fiend really challenge yet. I mean, he only had one appearance so far, but right now it seems like he's one of the top guys in WWE.
The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, wrestled Finn Balor at SummerSlam, and it was not spectacular.
Well, just him appearing, that's it. That's everything for Bray Wyatt, the Fiend. It's more of just the entrance and his look. The wrestling's the same, so nothing's really changed with that, but just his look, that's what attracts you to Bray Wyatt.
Well, it was the entrance, really.
And the mask.
Yeah, and the mask that he wears during the match. But I think you put him up against Braun Strowman, and it's impressive. It looks more impressive, you know, than him against Seth, just like another dude, you know?
You can still do that without it being the Universal title match. I mean, just because they've said something doesn't mean they can't completely change what they go against because they've done it before in the past.
What do you mean?
Like, they have this idea like, oh, we're going to go in this direction, and then it's like, nope, Kofi Kingston's the best example of it.
Where he just changed the direction completely of where they were going.
You thought Daniel Bryan would be champion forever. That didn't last.
Yeah.
It's a little stab on you, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that feels good. Look where Daniel Bryan is now, and we'll talk about Daniel Bryan in a minute. But I'd like to see Braun Strowman take that Universal title from Seth. I think it'd be interesting.
It would.
I don't want to see Seth and Bray Wyatt. Like, that's boring.
But you need to look at the fact that we've seen the Universal Championship change hands the last 2 pay-per-views in a row.
So
3 in a row?
Yeah.
I'd be surprised.
Good. They should be surprising you. And then you give Braun maybe a 4 pay-per-view run.
Wow. That'd be a great surprise.
I don't know.
I don't think it's going to happen, though.
Give Braun Hell in a Cell. Give him Crown Jewel. Oh, is that happening? That's real? Crown Jewel, October 31st. Halloween, Crown Jewel.
Nice.
That's fun. And then maybe give him Survivor Series, too. Put him in one of those Survivor Series matches. And then have him lose at TLC in December when things start to matter, you know? Because January rolls around, you got the Rumble, and then all of a sudden you can't have a guy like Braun Strowman with the title. Got to put it back to Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns, pal. Right?
I think Roman probably would win the Rumble right now at this point. I think he's the strongest candidate.
Again? Another Rumble win for Roman?
Tie the record.
So right now, sitting here in, end of August, early September, you're telling me in January you believe Roman Reigns will win the Royal Rumble. He is your early pick for the Royal Rumble victory.
Oh, yeah, without question. I want to say Kevin Owens, but I worry about Kevin after this week.
I'm going to say Kevin Owens.
I want to say Kevin.
Or Ali.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I mean, look, you just beat Buddy Murphy to advance in the King of the Ring, and Buddy Murphy beat Daniel Bryan last week. So, hey, come on. Ali's the man, I guess.
Well, if he wins King of the Ring, then, yeah, I'd start to believe in him.
King Ali.
If he wins the Rumble, like, yeah. I mean,
maybe they took away his name Mustafa Ali and just made him Ali because they have plans to call him King Ali. So they need to get rid of the Mustafa because it was too wordy. King Mustafa Ali. Too many names. King Ali. That works.
It sounds better, yeah, sure.
I don't think he's going to win, but I like the name, at least.
I think he can get by Elias, I think.
Yeah. Is that his next match?
Yeah.
Elias? Fun week for Elias, right? You want to get into the Kevin Owens thing?
Yeah, sure.
So Kevin Owens is backstage at SmackDown looking for Shane McMahon. He finds Elias in Shane's office.
With the title.
With the 24/7 title,
right?
Because he's the 24/7 champion.
Right.
Kevin doesn't care to find a referee and take that title from Elias, even though Elias, cheated him out of his King of the Ring match. Kevin Owens doesn't care to take something from Elias, but whatever.
Title doesn't mean much to Kevin.
Kevin doesn't care about the 24/7 title because he's on an upper level. He's like a mid-carder, and that's for low mid-card, right?
Well, you've seen it in the past where a lot of guys like Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, they see that happening and they just kind of ignore it. Like,
they don't care.
Yeah.
No one cares about the 24/7 title except for Drake Maverick and R-Truth, and that will become apparent in a moment, right? So Kevin Owens backstage looking for Shane. Elias tells him, Shane's not here, man. And Kevin Owens is like, cool. Thanks for the message. Elias later on decides to cut a promo for some reason. He's sitting on the throne, the King of the Ring throne that they have set up.
With the crown. He's
got a crown on. He's holding the scepter, just like Baron Corbin did like last week or whatever.
On Raw this week.
Raw this week, okay. And Kevin Owens shows up behind him, all sneaky, and he attacks Elias, hits him with a stunner, and then walks away.
Yep.
So he's got Elias down for the count. Elias is a 24/7 champion. Kevin Owens does not care. Doesn't want to take the title. Doesn't need the title. Doesn't care about the title. Right?
Right.
Then, as Kevin Owens is leaving, R-Truth shows up. He's got a ref. He goes to pin Elias. He gets pulled out of the ring by Drake Maverick, who then pins Elias and becomes the current 24/7 champion.
For like the 5th or 6th time now?
Yeah. So that's really what you saw from Kevin Owens this week. He got a little bit of revenge on Elias. Shane McMahon was not there, so there was no real interaction with Shane. And I guess Kevin Owens' whole gimmick right now revolves around Shane McMahon, even though this current gimmick that he's going on, this babyface run, started with him talking about how little people want to see Shane, how there's too much Shane. Kevin Owens' entire world now, in his current capacity, revolves around Shane McMahon.
I feel like this eerily is going to be another Hell in a Cell match in the end. Because we're getting around that time again.
Yeah, Hell in a Cell is the next pay-per-view after this one, right?
On Clash of Champions, it feels like they probably won't get another match because there's too many championship matches already booked. So I can see them wait till Hell in a Cell to have their blow-off match.
That's not a crazy idea. And, a lot of the things that you're seeing on TV right now made a good point as far as Clash of Champions being kind of overloaded with all these title matches. A lot of the stories that you're seeing, you might not even see result in a match at Clash of Champions, right? I think a lot of this stuff might get pushed to Hell in a Cell because looking at the calendar, Clash of Champions, September 15th, Hell in a Cell, October 6th.
Right.
Literally 2 weeks of TV to build Hell in a Cell after Clash of Champions. 2 weeks. 2 Raws, 2 SmackDowns. That's it. So they have to start building Hell in a Cell now while they're also building this Clash of Champions. Like, they have to start planting the seeds. So stuff like Kevin Owens, maybe even I guess Nakamura's going to have to defend his title, but the Nakamura-Sami Zayn thing I don't think is fully fleshed out. We'll see more of it Hell in a Cell.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff that's going on that's not really fully developed that'll develop more, I think, in those 2 weeks between the Clash and Hell in a Cell.
Well, the losers, too, of the King of the Ring tournaments as well, it feels like they have other things going on with them, but you kind of forget about them because there's no room for them on Clash of the Champions.
And Randy and Kofi will definitely wrestle again.
At Hell in a Cell? Yeah, I think so.
Guaranteed, right?
Yeah, it seems like that's a lock.
Bet.
Yeah, I would think so. I love the storyline, by the way. The way it's progressing, though, fantastic. Yeah, I think it's one of the best things they have right now in WWE right now is Randy and Kofi. It's a lot of fun actually watching that stuff.
Kofi cuts a promo to start off SmackDown this week. He says he's going to prove Randy wrong, says he's the champion that he deserves to be, and Randy shows up on the Tron, and he's like, "You're stupid, Kofi, stupid, stupid, stupid." That's the running thing that he's saying. He's continuously calling him stupid. And Randy reads a letter, says it's from a fan, says, "Randy, please don't hurt Kofi. He's been through enough. Leave him alone. And this letter is from your son, Kofi." And Kofi's like, "Oh, Randy, I'm going to get you." And then Randy's like, "Oh, I could write him back, but I happen to be staying in the same hotel as Kofi's family, so instead of writing him back, I'm going to go pay him a visit." And Kofi's like, "No!" And he runs backstage. And who's backstage right there behind the curtain to meet him? Randy Orton. And they brawl a bit, and they fight, and then Randy gets Kofi on a table backstage, and then he does his like hangman DDT thing, and he falls off, and he drops Kofi on the floor, taking Kofi out for the rest of SmackDown. And then Big E gets really mad about it, and then Big E wrestles Randy, but those damn Revival guys, they were ringside, and they provided the distraction, allowing Randy to hit the RKO on Big E and get the victory. And I guess Xavier Woods is still selling the injury there where Randy and the Revival took out his legs with the chair. So that's why Woods wasn't there. So Randy and the Revival systematically taking out the other members of the New Day and circling around Kofi Kingston. It is pretty good, but it's also kind of cheesy sometimes. Like "It's your son, Kofi." You're like, okay. They do that a little too much now with the family. Samoa Joe was doing it a bunch, with like everybody he was feuding with. And now Randy's doing it. It's like, yeah, whatever.
It's bad because they're saying that the son cares about Kofi, but when we pan to him during the matches, like he seems completely disinterested in what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
Yet he writes this passionate letter.
Yeah, he's like 4. He doesn't know what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
A lot of stuff doesn't make sense in WWE, but they're trying to tell you a story.
You're just telling me this is your favorite thing. This is the best thing that's going on in WWE.
I loved Randy attacking him, leaving him laying on the floor, telling him that he's stupid while he's left laying on the floor. That's great stuff. And then they beat up Big E. That was a great match.
It was a good match. I wouldn't say it was the best match on SmackDown.
No, but it was still entertaining to watch. I love the 3D they do now, too, by the way, with Revival and Randy.
You like the FTRKO team?
Yeah.
You like them all together?
Revival's definitely wrestling New Day at Clash Champions.
Randy's always better when he has guys to do his bidding.
Legacy, yeah.
Legacy. You know, it's always good when Randy has, like, goons.
Evolution, yeah, for
Exactly.
sure. Yeah.
Randy's better with a group. He's more diabolical, you know? There's more room for evil stuff that Randy can do because it's like Randy and his people. He's really unstoppable.
Well, then you really get that RKO at the end. It's the nail in the coffin instead of him doing it right away. And it's like, well, that's it. It's over. Like he's done that. So
yeah, that's it. They build up to the RKO with the other guys doing their moves first. Smart. Build up the anticipation.
I could see Randy become WWE champion at Clash Champions.
Yeah, me too. And then what, though?
Maybe he'll lose it at Hell in a Cell. I mean, it doesn't need to be a long reign.
A 2-week reign?
Yeah, whatever. At this point, it's just nice that Randy wins the title again.
I think it would be a good way for this feud to continue. Have Randy win at Clash of Champions. Have Kofi win it back at Hell in a Cell, and then you just move on. You know, have Randy, with help of the Revival, beat Kofi at Clash of Champions, and then Kofi demand a rematch inside Hell in a Cell, where the Revival can't interfere.
Right.
It'll be Randy, Kofi, one-on-one.
And great WWE champions usually are multi-time WWE champions, right?
I think Kofi getting a second title run would be a good move. Showing that he may lose the title, but he's got the ability to win it back. So he's a guy that you can always look at as a champion, like a championship-level performer. The second time is always the most important, right? That's what a lot of people say about WWE titles. And, you know, you could win it once, but the key is winning it again and again and again, because that shows you're always in that main event. Unlike Jinder Mahal, who won it once, and will never, ever win it again.
JBL was also in that as well.
Yeah, JBL. He had a very long run, though, right?
He did, all the way to WrestleMania.
Bit of a better career than Jinder, but kind of on the same level as far as WWE champions.
Well, just to have that one moment where you're the guy.
Yeah.
I think Kofi deserves more than just that one moment. Like, he deserves definitely a long run like this.
He deserves not only, you know, the championship run that says, hey, you're the guy right now. You deserve this. This is your prize for being a good soldier all these years. Thanks, Kofi. We'll see you later. Back down to the mid-card for you. He deserves better than that.
100%.
He deserves, hey, Kofi, you're a main eventer now. Congratulations. You lose the title to Randy, but don't worry. You'll beat him at Hell in a Cell in a couple weeks. You're our guy. You're a main event player. We could see you main eventing WrestleMania next year. You know, like, he's one of those guys. He should be, at least. And hopefully the WWE does see him that way. They seem to, right?
Well, like all great champions in the past, they always come back and win the championship again. Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H, John Cena, Hulk Hogan. They always did it multiple times. Kofi deserves to be in that discussion.
Well, with The Rock and Hogan and Cena?
He should at least be up there. I mean, if he's going to be one of the top guys, main event guys, I think you got to get more reigns.
Yeah, I think you definitely have to give him more title reigns. I wouldn't necessarily say he's Hulk Hogan, you know? It's different levels. Levels to the game, right, John?
I suppose, well, that's legends, right? Kofi's not a legend yet, I guess, right?
Well, there are legends, and there's like the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling, you know? I mean, John Cena ran the company for over 10 years. You know, he was the guy. Hulk Hogan changed the business. The Rock, I mean, he's the biggest star the business has ever made. I would put Kofi on the level of an Edge. A guy who worked a long time, got there, deserved it. Jeff Hardy. CM Punk even, although Punk was kind of a bigger star. Like, Kofi hasn't crossed over, you know? He hasn't crossed over to being a mainstream sports entertainment superstar.
Right.
He's not Steve Austin. He's not The Rock. He's not Mankind. He's not The Undertaker. You know, he's a solidly known performer. You know, people know him, but he's not a household name.
But that's why you give him those multiple title reigns, so you give him opportunities to be that top-level guy.
Yeah, I agree. I like Kofi, you know? I think he can do a lot. I think the promo on SmackDown was a little hit or miss. I think there were moments in that promo where I was like, yes, this is very good, solid stuff. And there were other moments where it didn't really work out. You know, him begging for acceptance, you know? Him begging for people to say, yes, Kofi, you deserve it. You know, it's enough with that. Just say, I'm the guy. You know, ask AJ Styles if I deserve it. Ask Daniel Bryan if I deserve it. Randy Orton, you're questioning that I deserve it? You're going to see when I kick you in the head and pin you in the middle of the ring. You know, Kofi needs to be more like that. It needs to be less like, I'll show you, Randy. You don't think I can do it, but I'll prove to you, Randy, that I'm just as good as you. Kofi doesn't need to be that guy. He needs to be like, yeah, I'm not just as good as you, Randy. I'm way better than you, and I'm going to destroy you when I see you next. I can't wait to get my hands on you, Randy. All this stuff you're saying, I'm going to kick you in the head. Kofi needs to be more aggressive. I don't like this Kofi kind of like, oh, please, can I be as good as you, Randy? No. I'm better than you, Randy. I've always been better than you. I never had the opportunity to get in the ring and prove it to you, and here I am proving it to you, knocking you in the head, putting you out. Like, that's what I want to see from Kofi. And there are moments where he is that guy.
Right.
Trash-talking, aggressive Kofi. But then there are these other moments where he's like, oh, please just accept me, you know? Come on, I'm a main eventer, right? Right, guys? Right? And it's like, yeah, you don't need to do that.
You're not wrong about that. It's true.
Confidence. More confidence from Kofi. More aggression. Ruthless aggression.
I think it's maybe WWE's a little thrown off by the fact that Kofi got booed at SummerSlam. And a lot of it...
Well, I think he's getting booed because he's this little, like, oh, please accept me. And, like, when you're that guy, people will be like, no. You know? If you're like, I'm better than everybody else, people are like, yeah, this guy's cool. He's not as cool as he should and could be, as he really is. You know what I mean? Like, the real guy is way cooler than Kofi Kingston.
But he can't really act like that, though.
Well, why not?
Because it would just take away
I want to see him be Mr. 24/7. Like the character he is when he's playing video games, like the real Kofi Kingston, that should be the Kofi Kingston on TV. Aggressive, in-your-face, trash-talking Kofi Kingston. If he can get that way when he's playing Madden, why can't he be that guy on television?
I guess he tries too much to be a good guy. That might be the problem.
Yeah, well...
He'd ruffle too many feathers, I guess. That would be the thing.
People don't like guys that are, like, really good and always playing by the rules and just really nice. People like guys that are aggressive and cool. You know, you got to be cool, too.
He tries to, play in between the lines. Tries.
Yeah. It's not working that well. I want to talk about the King of the Ring and who has advanced in this tournament. Also, I think Bayley's getting set up for failure, and I'm going to tell you why when we come back.
Okay.
Bayley's in big old trouble. We got to take a short pause here on the radio side. It is Wrestling Uncensored. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. It is Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave Simon. He is Johnny North. RingsideReport.net is the website. That's the online home of the Ringside Report Network. You want to hear about mixed martial arts, you go to Ringside Report. You check out the MMA show, myself, Fred Garcia, AJ DeLesio. Every Thursday night, we're live on YouTube at 8 p.m. You can watch us. I know Johnny was watching us this week, enjoying the show.
Bits and pieces.
Okay. Thanks, Johnny. Did you like the show?
I had buffering issues, so yeah. It was good
What's
for what
wrong
I
with
saw.
Get your internet up, Johnny.
Sorry, it happens.
All right. Well, yeah, you could watch that show on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net with the .net spelled out, DOTNET. More info for that is on our website at ringsidereport.net. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, and all that. Check out our All Out show. You want to hear about AEW? You're listening to this show and you're like, man, these guys, all they do is talk about the WWE. How come they're not talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling or All Elite Wrestling or DDT Pro Wrestling? Well, if you want to hear us talk about other things, I don't talk about DDT so much, but Santino was in DDT recently. I don't know if you saw that, John.
I didn't see that.
It got me like thinking, oh, I think I need to start watching DDT on a regular basis. If Santino's there, I'm there. DDT is a super awesome promotion over in Japan. But hey, we talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling. What's Phantom in Japan? That's available on our website. It's a podcast, ringsidereport.net. That's the New Japan Pro Wrestling show. We also talk about All Elite Wrestling. Dave and Johnny Live. We previewed All Out. And also, as a special YouTube show, right after All Out, we go live. We talk to you. We hear from you. We read your comments, and we discuss what happened at All Out. Kenny Omega versus Pac, formerly Adrian Neville in the WWE. It was supposed to be Jon Moxley, but now it's Pac, and that match should be incredible. The first ever AEW championship on the line. Chris Jericho versus Hangman Page, one-on-one. Who will walk away with the title? Find out on our YouTube channel. youtube.com/ringsidereport.net. Everything AEW covered for you on the Ringside Report Network.
For me, I'd check in on the Cody Rhodes match because the last couple of shows that they've had, it's the Cody Rhodes match that really stood out the most.
Cody Rhodes has been incredible, and he takes on Shawn Spears at All Out, the big show from All Elite Wrestling. And check out all the talk from Johnny North and myself on AEW on our YouTube channel. More info, ringsidereport.net. That is the website. Now, Big Johnny, the Clash of Champions pay-per-view taking place September 15th. Charlotte Flair, the Queen, will be challenging for the SmackDown Women's title against Bayley. Big Johnny, do you know where Clash of Champions will be taking place?
It's in Charlotte, North Carolina?
Charlotte, North Carolina. Flair Country, the Queen City.
Wow.
The home of Charlotte Flair. The home of the Flairs. Do you know who wrestled in the main event of the very first Clash of Champions in Greensboro, North Carolina?
I'm going to guess it was Rick.
It was Ric Flair, Charlotte's dad, wrestled Sting in, I think, a 60-minute Broadway.
I thought it was Dusty, but wow. Okay, cool.
No. I think Dusty was on the card, some with Magnum TA.
Okay.
But it was Sting and the Nature Boy in the main event of the first ever Clash of Champions. And you know that show was, the Clash of Champions was invented to go up against WrestleMania 4. It was counter-programming to WrestleMania 4. And the WWE now owns it, and they have taken it, as their own. I mean,
it's interesting.
That's a power move, right? Like, yeah, you're going to use Clash of Champions. You want to take out WrestleMania 4? Well, in 30 years, it's going to be mine. And now it is. It's all Vince's. Vince owns it all.
But Dusty's family is actually happy because it continues the legacy that he started.
Yeah. So I think Bayley's going to lose at Clash of Champions. I mean, it's Clash of Champions. It's It's a Flair pay-per-view. Charlotte's wrestling. It's in Charlotte, North Carolina. Come on. And they're not really talking about how it's in Charlotte. Like, you would have thought that, hey, it's in Charlotte. Charlotte's wrestling. Clash of Champions. Like, they would be bringing this up. But I think they're trying to keep it quiet because then on the night, they're going to be like, oh, look at this. Great Flair tradition. Following the legacy and all of that stuff, right? But I'm looking at it, and I'm like, ooh, it's in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's called the Clash of Champions. Sounds like Charlotte Flair's going to become champion again.
And they also built Bayley up pretty strong this week that she beat Nikki Cross and she beat Lacey Evans.
Yeah.
Clean.
Yeah, beat Nikki Cross on Raw, and I was like, what's Bayley doing on Raw?
I think they're just trying to show that she's a really strong champion, and it'll make Charlotte look really good when she beats Bayley.
Yep.
It's too
going
bad.
to happen, though, right?
Yeah,
and I don't think everybody has connected those dots yet. Like, I know you hadn't, right? Like, you didn't check where the pay-per-view was.
Right.
But I checked this week, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, but Bayley could easily win it back because Charlotte's already lost the title like 9 times already too, right? So
sure. Yeah, she's a multi-time champion, you know. It's the old joke that Ric Flair says, you know. I was 16-time champion, but the only matches I ever won was when I won the title, which is not true, but, you know, it's a funny joke.
He also claims he was 18-time champion. They didn't count all the reigns.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, if you're 18-time champion, you have to lose at least 17 times.
Of course.
So, yes, she's a multi-time champion, just like her father. But I think another one of those reigns is coming up Sunday, September 15th, in Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, that's going to be a coronation. She beats Trish on SummerSlam, then the next pay-per-view she becomes champion. I think we're building towards Charlotte and Becky again.
Really?
Or not? You don't think?
I mean, if we're building towards that, it's what, WrestleMania again? I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon unless you're thinking Survivor Series because it's champion versus champion. Okay, maybe. But it's not a title match.
Maybe teams? Or just a one-on-one match at Survivor Series?
I think because they usually do champion versus champion, right? So
I think we do Becky and Charlotte again at Survivor Series in November.
Don't really need to see it.
And you only have one pay-per-view really for the women between Clash of Champions and Survivor Series because they're not going to Saudi Arabia for that show at the end of October, right?
But they have to all cover the SmackDown now because all the men go to Saudi Arabia, so who's going to be on SmackDown? It's going to be all women.
Yeah, I guess. But whatever. Doesn't mean they have a pay-per-view. Whatever happened to the all-women's pay-per-view, Evolution? They did it last year. It was one of the best shows they did all year. This year, crickets. It was around this time of year, wasn't it, in September?
You say it was one of the best shows they did. I mean, that Ronda Rousey-Nikki Bella match was not exactly a classic.
I remember other matches on that card being very good, though.
Right, but that's your main event. That's how you're leaving the show. That's how everyone remembers the show was the last match.
So, the rest of the card was good, though.
The first match was, I think, Trish and Lita against, like, Mickey and, like, Alicia Fox. That was okay at best.
Yeah, but there were other matches on that card that were really fun, like Toni Storm and Io Shirai, tremendous.
That's true.
Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane was very good. I'm looking at the card now. There were some good matches on that card. Even Sasha Bayley and Natty beating the Riot Squad. Becky and Charlotte in the Last Woman Standing match was one of the matches of the year in 2018.
I thought they had a better match with Asuka, but that's just how
Yeah, it was a very good one, too, but that one was excellent. The Last Woman Standing, that was the real main event of that card, and it was tremendous. That was a good show last year. They should do it again. I don't know why they're not.
I don't think it's really necessary. We get enough pay-per-views. We don't need another pay-per-view. One less pay-per-view, I'm very happy with that.
It's just they talk all that stuff about women being at the forefront of the company and all of this. And you have these 2 all-men's pay-per-views in Saudi Arabia. You did an all-women's pay-per-view last year. It seems successful, but they're not doing it again this year.
Well, they had women go to Saudi Arabia. They tried to get them to wrestle. I'm sure they're going to probably try again to get them to wrestle. Eventually, they'll probably get it to happen, I think.
Sure. So, Charlotte's definitely going to beat Bayley, I think. How crazy would it be if Bayley beat Charlotte in Charlotte, North Carolina?
given Bayley's run, it just makes a lot of sense. She hasn't really done anything exceptional with the championship. Her matches haven't really stood out. They've all been kind of forgettable. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really care about them.
So
I think
she'll lose.
I think it's time to move on. You gave Bayley a chance. The matches weren't exactly particularly anything great. So, yeah, go back to Charlotte.
It's never a bad idea to go back to Charlotte. I thought Bayley and Nikki Cross was all right this week on Raw.
It was okay, but
It was fine. Bayley and Lacey Evans, not too good.
it was too long.
I'm glad that Lacey Evans is not where she was when she debuted on the card. You know, like she was the main event there with Becky and all that stuff. It was a little too much Lacey Evans because she is not that good in the ring.
I thought actually that mixed tag match they did, I thought that was a really good match for her.
The Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, Baron Corbin, Lacey Evans match?
I thought she was really good in that match.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, she's not the greatest, obviously, but
I mean, there was a lot of people, you know, there were a lot of other things in that match. People, weapons, gimmicks, ref bumps to kind of hide her.
Sure, fine.
You know.
The problem with that match...
Salad dressing, as you put it.
Of course, but the problem with the match with Bayley, that match is way too long. You're overexposing her.
Yeah.
I mean, give her maybe 5 to 6 minutes. You give most people 5 to 6 minutes. Why are you giving Lacey Evans like well over like 5 minutes?
That match was very long. It was strangely long on SmackDown this week. Not the greatest match. Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin had a pretty good match. Nice move there by Gable to finish Benjamin. The sunset flip, the rolling sunset flip thing that he did from his shoulders. That was sweet.
I just liked all the counters like throughout the match. It felt like, you know, Gable had something, but Shelton always had a counter to it. It was a very good story I thought they were telling. If anything, that match should have been longer.
Chad Gable is one of the best in-ring performers in all of professional wrestling. He is one of the most grossly underused guys in all of the WWE. He should be king of the ring.
Should be, but do you believe in that?
I don't believe that they're going to do it because they just don't seem that keen on pushing Chad Gable, which is unfortunate because I think he's very good. Like, is he not one of the best wrestlers in all of WWE? He's incredible in that ring.
He's very good, but I think they like Andrade more. And because of that, Andrade's probably going to win.
And that's tough. You know, Andrade's very good too.
Right.
You know, but I don't know. Who will win the King of the Ring at this point? We have the quarterfinals set. The WWE's calling them the semifinals, but that doesn't make sense because they're the quarterfinals of the tournament. So Samoa Joe and Ricochet will wrestle on, I don't know, Monday?
I hope so. You're really like cutting it close if you don't get them this week.
Yeah, no, they're wrestling Monday. Yeah, the quarterfinals will all go down Monday and Tuesday night because then the semifinals have to take place next week and then the finals at Clash of Champions on the 15th. So it'll be Joe and Ricochet coming up on Monday. Johnny, last week we talked about the tournament and I said, oh yeah, Ricochet's going far. I think Ricochet's probably going to win the whole thing. He was my pick to win.
Right.
Your pick to win was what? Drew McIntyre?
Or Buddy Murphy.
Or Buddy Murphy.
Yeah.
Okay. My pick to win was Ricochet or Ricochet and Andrade in the finals, and
Right.
I had Ricochet winning. Now, you thought Drew McIntyre was going to beat Ricochet in the opening round. I thought otherwise.
Right.
Once again, Johnny, never go against me. Every time we make bets on professional wrestling.
This wasn't a bet.
Yeah, well, anytime we pick matches and you pick opposite me, usually we agree on the finish for most matches. But when you go against me, John, never goes well for you.
It happens. It's too bad for Drew McIntyre.
I predict these things, Johnny North. The WWE is very predictable.
It's too bad for Drew McIntyre. I think him being king of the ring, it should have happened. It didn't. It's highly unfortunate that they don't see what I see.
You thought Drew should have won the King of the Ring.
Or at least gone to the finals.
No. He's not very entertaining. You're entertained by Drew McIntyre? I'm not.
I think he's an interesting character, at the very least.
I don't. What's
Okay.
interesting about him? How angry he is?
Yeah.
How he talks about dismembering people.
It's believable that
He never does it. I've never seen him rip anybody's limbs off.
Which is probably for the best. But
yeah, well, there's a certain amount of time you can say that stuff before people start to say, hey, man, you don't do that stuff. Stop lying. Stop lying, Drew McIntyre. You can't even beat Ricochet.
Well, I find he's quite athletic, and it's believable that he could beat people.
He's big.
Right.
I don't find him super athletic.
I find more
For
athletic.
his size, he's pretty athletic.
Yeah.
But, like, in general, as an athlete, I don't think he's the most athletic guy in the WWE. Look, I don't want to bury Drew McIntyre here. I think he's fine. I think he looks like $1 million. Looks amazing, in great shape, right?
I think so.
Huge. The guy's, like, super tall, too, right?
Taller than me.
Yeah, and how tall are you? Like 6'2", 6'3"?
Yeah.
So Drew's like, what, 6'5"?
Yeah, 6'5", 6'6".
Wow. That's a giant. He's a giant of a man. Like, he looks the part, for sure.
Yeah.
But once he opens his mouth, And even in the ring, he's not bad. The promos are just... They're like over the top, mean, bad guy. I'm going to dismember you. I'm going to rip you limb from limb. And it's like, yeah. Okay, dude. Who cares? It's boring, you know? That kind of talk, like, it's a tune-out for me. You like that?
Well, he's a little over the top. I'm not going to deny that on the promos, but I think in terms of what he could possibly do, there's so much potential. I'm surprised they don't do more with him.
More potential than Ricochet? You want to talk about athletic? You want to talk about potential? Ricochet? This guy might not have it promo-wise yet, but, man, in the ring, who would you rather watch? Drew McIntyre or Ricochet?
It's a good point. Yeah, Ricochet, but I thought WWE didn't think that way.
Well, I mean, come on, man. Sometimes you got to do the right thing.
Well,
and now we're going to have Ricochet and Samoa Joe. That's awesome. That's a fantastic match.
We've seen before.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it on Raw. It means something now. This is a big King of the Ring match.
It meant something before. It was a U.S. title match on pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah.
It was a big match.
All right. Well, fine. It's another big match between Ricochet and Samoa Joe. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, it should be good. It was good before. I don't doubt that. It's just, well, we're just spinning our wheels here, doing the same thing over and over again, it seems.
Baron Corbin beat The Miz this week in his opening match. He's in the quarterfinals. He'll take on Cedric Alexander on Raw in the quarters. I have Baron going to the semifinals against Ricochet. I think it'll be Ricochet beating Joe, and then Baron beating Cedric here, and that's how I had it from the start, John. My Raw bracket, I think, is perfect. I have predicted every match correctly so far on Raw. SmackDown got busted a bit because I thought KO would beat Elias and Buddy Murphy would beat Ali. But on the other side, I'm totally right. Like, I'm doing pretty well in my King of the Ring bracket so far, John. You, not so much.
Well, I think we were both on the ball with the whole Cedric Alexander Baron Corbin thing.
Well, you took Corbin to beat Miz, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. And now I have Corbin beating Cedric.
I have it flip-flop.
You have Cedric beating Corbin.
Right.
And Joe beating Ricochet?
I guess Ricochet would probably beat Joe. I could see Joe against, Ricochet against
Cedric?
Yeah.
They're not doing that babyface on babyface. Stop picking against me, John. Just go with the flow.
They did
Baron
Ali.
Corbin versus Ricochet is going to be the match. Ricochet is going to beat Baron Corbin. He'll go to the finals against Andrade, and he'll win the King of the Ring at Clash of Champions.
They did Ali against Buddy Murphy. That was face versus face.
I guess. Is Buddy Murphy a babyface?
They both shook hands twice. You're definitely a face if you do that.
That's like 205 Live brotherhood, I think.
Regardless, like, you shook hands twice on TV, you're such a face.
But Buddy Murphy wrestled Roman Reigns a couple weeks ago.
And then Daniel Bryan.
I don't know. I'm not sure what Buddy Murphy is right now. All I know is that he's not in the King of the Ring. You beat Daniel Bryan last week on SmackDown. This week, you can't even beat Ali. Ali beats Buddy Murphy. Pretty good match on SmackDown this week. And Ali advances. He'll take on Elias on SmackDown this week in the quarterfinals of the King of the Ring. I've got Ali beating Elias with maybe help from Kevin Owens.
Why don't just have Ali win? Just straight up win.
Win what? Against Elias?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You can do that too.
I would just do that.
But Kevin Owens has got a thing with Elias, doesn't he?
You could do that before the match or after the match, but during the match, I mean, Ali doesn't need the help, I don't think.
No, he doesn't. So you think he'll win for sure? Ali beating Elias, and then Andrade beating Chad Gable.
Well, I had Andrade going all the way to this anyways, so yeah. It was just Buddy Murphy, not Ali.
Yeah, I had Buddy Murphy too. I had Andrade in this spot, though. I have Andrade beating Gable. Did you have Shelton beating Gable?
Yeah, I mean, Gable beating Sheldon.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Good. You were correct with me there, John. Just stick with me, man. Everything will be all right.
No, I like going against the grain.
So, Elias versus Andrade. Who do you think will win that match next week? Andrade?
Yeah, that's tough now, yeah. I mean, before I didn't
Or
have him.
Ali versus Andrade. Sorry, you have Ali winning. Ali versus Andrade. Who do you have in the finals?
Wow, it's tough. Like Andrade or Ali. Because Ali, they're really pushing the hell out of him right now, it seems.
Yeah.
But I would think Andrade, I guess. It would just make more sense, whoever he faces on Raw.
So Andrade versus who? Ricochet in the finals?
Ricochet or Cedric Alexander, yeah.
And who's your King of the Ring now? It used to be Drew McIntyre, but that's no more. My King of the Ring is still in it, Ricochet. And I had Andrade and Ricochet in the finals from the start, and I'm sticking with that.
Andrade's looking pretty good right now, I think.
So you think Andrade will be the king? King Andrade.
Of course, my picks seem to change every week because the brackets keep changing.
Yeah, the brackets don't keep changing. You just can't predict correctly. So you have to keep changing your picks because your King of the Rings keep getting eliminated.
So we'll wait and see what happens next week.
All right. Well, that's a good way to finish it off, right, Johnny? We'll have to wait and see what happens next week. When can people see you in the ring?
September 21st, I'll be in Hawkesbury at the Summit High School. Bell time 7:30 p.m., I believe. And check out more info on my Twitter feed at North Genesis.
All right. Check him out on his Twitter feed at North Genesis. You can check me out at Dave Simon MMA on Instagram and Twitter. Genesis Johnny North on Instagram for the big guy. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net, youtube.com/ringsidereport, DOTNET. More info for the YouTube channel over at our website, ringsidereport.net. You can watch our all-out post-show at the YouTube channel. Every AEW show we are on right afterwards, breaking it down for you. Every WWE show we are on right afterwards. Every pay-per-view, at least, right after breaking it down for you on this very channel. The YouTube channel, youtube.com/ringsidereport.net. Check us out. If you are listening to this show and you want to watch us, you want to see what we look like when we're doing Wrestling Uncensored, well, you can go to the YouTube channel right now and watch it. Or ringsidereport.net. Very, very easy for you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. For Johnny North, I am Dave Simon, and this has been Wrestling Uncensored. Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.